Hey guys, thanks for joining another CloudTask Marketplace Skillbridge. We're going to be going over what's a top rated plus, but most importantly, how do you get activated in the marketplace? All right, so let's go into that. And then secondly, we'll be able to go into a positive interview where, the candidate was offered the job right then and there on the interview. It's a little bit different from the last ones if you've tuned in. So yeah, stay tuned, and we'll be sharing that. A few do's and don'ts prior to an interview, right? What you should do, what you shouldn't do, and finally we'll have our Q&A session. But if you guys have questions, feel free to jot them down as we go. So let me share screens and show you guys what's needed in order to be activated in the marketplace. All right. Here we go. So as you guys can see, Edwin, for example, let's check out Edwin's profile. He has a professional headshot. We have Juan Pablo. He has a professional headshot. All right. Marcos, bilingual customer service representative. Right. And then we have Edwin, senior sales. And let me zoom in a little bit. Senior sales development rep, 6+ years of outbound and SaaS prospecting experience. Juan Pablo, experienced sales and business development manager, 10+ years driving strategic growth and client relationship across LATAM. Marcos, not to point out on Marcos, but bilingual customer service rep. The two at the top have a more impacting title. I'm more enticed to clicking on that profile and checking out the rest, right? So if we go over to Juan Pablo, we'll be able to see his About Me section. We'll be able to see his work experience. All right. We have account executive work, client support coordinator, account manager, customer support representative, account exec. So again, he's listed, just like you would on your resume, your CV. This is your digital resume on the CloudTask Marketplace, right, guys? So make sure that you're listing all of your relevant experience, and also list out a good description, right? A good caption as to what you were doing. Project of 3 months, identifying business opportunities. Let's see, by complying with ISO 901 and ISO, right? So listing a few specifics as far as either processes, software that he was using. So make sure you guys are being specific. All right, let's go back to Edwin. Check out why he doesn't have a top rated badge. So Juan Pablo has a top rated badge. Marcos is active but doesn't have a top rated badge. Let's check out Edwin. He's kind of in the middle, right? So he has an About Me section. All right. He has his work experience: sales rep, sales manager, sales representative, sales rep. All right, great. So Edwin is a good example of someone that recently updated his profile, right? This morning, he only had one job experience, and that's why he didn't have his top rated badge. Because again, if we check out his video, we won't do that just now, but briefly, if I open up his video, you'll be able to see that just like Juan Pablo and anyone else with the top rated badge, you're dressed to impress. So if you're looking for a job, guys, I know most of us, get dressed up for different occasions, right? Let it be birthdays, church, social gatherings. But we're always looking, we're trying to look good. Some of you guys are not keeping that into account when making your intro videos, right? So make sure that you dress to impress, not only with professional attire, but also the place of where you're making the intro video. I love the fact that a lot of you are resourceful, and even if you're on the go, you're in the car and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm quick with it. I'm going to do a quick video now. I need to make a profile. I like the quick spirit, but at the end of the day, it's quality over quantity. So make sure that you guys don't keep the intro video that you did in your car as your final draft, right? That being said, the location of the video is very important, and also how you're dressed. So Edwin, he has his video. It's horizontal, right? The format, so head and shoulders are in frame, so that's great. Dress to impress. He's got a dress shirt on, a polo. Again, that's what you should be doing on these intro videos, and therefore on these interviews that you're going to have later on, right? So without having to go into the video, He doesn't mention his last name. So just so you guys know, don't mention your last name, cell phone number, email. Contact details are shared with the hiring companies once an offer is made, right? So just want to make that clear so you guys don't have to repeat a video, a really good video, and then have to repeat it. Or the CloudTask team is helping you guys by, potentially editing out if you're top rated plus. So once again, the video is 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So we always recommend 60 seconds to 2 minutes. That was well done. So again, real soon I'll be changing Edwin's status, obviously, to top rated, and we'll be able to get into that. Now, Marcos has a title where, again, the title basically is going to be here, right? Customer support rep. Here, yeah, my man put bilingual customer support rep, but at the end of the day, you don't want your title to be what the job role you're going to place in your work experience, right? It should be more of an impacting or positioning statement. Think of this. The title should be 1 or 2 sentences of your about me. So let's check out his about me. I am an experienced and bilingual customer service representative with a strong background in hospitality call center operations. That already looks better, Marcos. I would definitely add that and put a +3 or +4 years, depending on how many years of experience you have. That title will look a lot better. The about me section is good. We always recommend a paragraph minimum, meaning 4 sentences, up to 2 paragraphs, right? 3, 4, it's up to you, right? We also don't want the profile to look a little saturated. So yeah, we always recommend a paragraph minimum, up to 2. Now, work experience. Marcos has only listed 1 work experience, right? So again, I would recommend listing at least 3 at a minimum. The headshot, it's kind of at an angle, right? Coming from the bottom up. Could be a selfie. I might be mistaken. T-shirt, not the end of the world. I'm wearing a T-shirt, by the way. I am representing CloudTask, but hey, I threw on a nice coat because of the event that we had, right? So just as that, Marcos, I would recommend throwing a nice coat, maybe a polo dress shirt for the profile picture. Same for the video, right? So, and let's go briefly into Marcos.
Hi.
All right. So it is more on, the vertical, right? Selfie mode instead of the horizontal. His head and shoulders are in frame, but at the end of the day, if you do it horizontally, it looks better. You're able to throw in a few hand movements when you're mentioning what type of industries you've worked in. I've worked in real estate, healthcare, just to name a few. I've also been able to work with HubSpot and Salesforce, right? So a little bit of hand movement has been a positive thing, right? On your intro videos. So well dressed, it is a button up. I gave Marcos already some feedback on his video, but yes, that's a difference now between Marcos being activated, Juan Pablo having a top rated badge, and Edwin about to get his top rated badge, and the reason why he's going to get that badge, right? So again, guys, feel free to throw in some questions now or later on in our QA session. But that's the difference, right, between activation. If you have a professional headshot, you have a title, you listed your work experience, and you have a video where you don't mention your last name, those 4 boxes are checked off, you're getting activated in the marketplace, right? Now, to get the top rated badge, you need to have a B2 English advanced, B2 advanced, right? There, some are thrown out differently, but B2 advanced, which is the most common or global term, would be the English level requirement, right? Second to that would now be the completion of your profile. I just put a quick title, a little bit of about me section. I put 1 or 2 job experiences, right? That's going to get you activated. You need at least 3 work experiences. You need to be specific. No one-liners, right? SDR at IBEX, and I was calling on a daily basis, right? I've seen that as a work experience. You should place, hey, I was reaching out to office managers in the dental space, trying to book an appointment for my sales team. I was using channels such as email, phone, and social. Approximately, I would make 120 to 140 calls a day. I was able to generate, right? So a little bit of success stories in there will always be a benefit. What tools were you using in that environment that you were being successful in will also be a benefit. So yeah, guys, don't be shy to be specific in your video, in your work experience, right? Your written work experience. So that's the difference. Activation to top rated. English level, B2 advanced or higher, right? B2 advanced or higher. I need to have a complete profile in the marketplace. I need to have shown effort as far as filling out the information with specific information, not just one-liners, right? And then at the end of the day, your video, right? So if it's a video where it looks like I'm reading word for word my presentation, everything that I want to share with you guys, and you notice that it kind of turns into Danny is really great at reading, but right, so it's going to read a little bit differently. You guys aren't going to connect. So just as hiring companies are going to be under the impression that either it's the first time you do some video outreach or you try and present yourself, let it be for an SDR position, a manager position, account executive position. They want someone that's portraying some level of confidence, right? So make sure that you don't just submit your first video, your second video. You're probably going to need 1, 2, or 3 takes, right, before you get to that final copy that you feel comfortable with. So those would be the differences now between activation and top rated. Now, top rated plus to top rated. Top rated plus, now the level of English, your English level has to be minimum C1 advanced, right? So up to C2, which again would be native, right? So basically C1 advanced to native is now that top rated plus badge. Secondly, your work experience minimum has to be 3 years or more, right? To have your top rated badge, you can have a year, right? You can have a year and a half of experience, right? But in order to have that top rated plus badge, 3 to 4 years is what the team is looking for, right? And then at the end of the day, same idea, the completion of your profile, how specific you are. Are you telling a story, or are you just quickly just putting one sentence? And yeah, I'd say it's a fusion of listing out your experience, using a little bit of AI if needed, but at the end, don't just put one-liners, and don't just copy and paste whatever it is that you just prompted to some AI. Because again, you can tell, right? Sometimes we just copy and paste real quick, and we still don't notice that it says a piece of the prompt, right? So make sure you guys are on top of that, and that's it. So activation, pretty simple. What is needed? Top rated badge. Pretty simple on what is needed. And then finally, top rated plus badge. It's also simple. If you guys have worked on your profile, you can reach out to the CloudTask team. You can reach out to Carolyn Forero. You can reach out to Arturo, myself, David Gomez, right? The entire team that you guys are already speaking with. And awesome. So I will now start sharing screens. This is a new interview, as I mentioned. We're going to be checking out an interaction between a hiring company and a remote candidate. Angela was in the marketplace, I think maybe for 2 weeks or a week and a half, landed that first interview, and the company immediately job. And that's what I want to discuss on that video. It's a bit different than our traditional interviews, right? Especially from the previous ones we've had, not just Solomon, but off the top of my head, can't remember the one previous to Solomon, but we've had other videos where we're showing those interactions. Let me handy dandy course over here, Chrome tab. All right, awesome. So before getting into it, as I was stating, I can't recall before Solomon, but we have seen a common trend in most of these. And the common trend is when you guys are able to check out the companies before you actually get on the interviews, that's where the magic's at. So this specific company, it has a more transactional service or offering, right? It's in the VoIP space. So again, the company also went ahead and checked out the profile to an extent where they felt very comfortable as to who they were meeting. So where I'm getting with that is this interview is a bit different than the previous ones because of two reasons. One, the complexity of the product. It is more it's not a software, complex software, right? It's going to be telecommunications, as you're going to hear in a second by John. And then secondly, the individual was able, to come prepared to the interview, right? And the hiring company did their job by actually researching and doing a little bit more digging on the candidate. All right. So let me go into that right now.
Hello.
Hello, John.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking.
Glad to hear that.
Okay, so let me see. Can you hear me good now?
Yes, I can hear you okay. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so basically, we're I'm pretty sure that you already got a brief description of what we're looking for. So we're we're a local we're a telephone provider located in Dallas, Texas, and we're looking for people to just to get on the phones, call over the phone and just try to get us appointments, for the sales team.
Right.
Basically, we will provide you with a list of industries that we probably want you to target, and like we're gonna let you play around.
Give me 1 second, team. I apologize. Let me slow it down a bit. All right, it was on 1.25. Let's get that on 1. There we go.
Like Google Maps, like just Google itself. You can use a Nextdoor, Yelp, like just to find businesses, and basically you just gotta call these businesses, try to get whoever makes the decisions on their phone and internet service to schedule an appointment for one of our sales reps to go out there and meet with us.
Right.
When you're setting appointments, there's a few questions that you need to be asking to make sure that they're qualified leads. You need to ask them like how many phone lines do you have? How many phones? Who's your internet and phone provider? How much are you paying for your phone service only? There's something like, hey, how much are you paying? Or if they don't want to tell you, because sometimes they're like, no, I don't want to tell you how much I'm paying. I'm like, okay, well, at least are you paying 125 or more for phone service? And if they said yes, okay, that's going to be qualified. Or if they don't know, but like, hey, I'm with AT&T and my internet and my phone bill are like, 180, okay, then we can do it. If it's less than $180 for both services, then we won't be able to help them. So, we'll provide you with like a presentation that, talks about, the questions that you need to ask. How can you get as a gatekeeper? Because, a lot of times, the receptionist or the secretary are going to be answering the phones and they don't let you pass them, to the actual owner. So we will provide training on, how can you, like change your tone, your approach to be able to just get the what we call the gatekeeper to pass over to the whoever makes the decision. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. It's going to be all face-to-face appointments, so they have to agree to meet with us face-to-face. And then that's kind of what we're looking for.
Okay, sounds good. So, will I be? You mentioned that I'm gonna do it over the phone, right? So first,
Right.
I'm gonna like ask them their questions and see if they are like actually qualified leads, and then the idea is for me to set up the appointment. That's what you said. Is that correct?
Correct. So once you're talking to the decision maker, or sometimes like the decision maker won't talk to us or to you. But then, like this person, like, hey, well, you have to talk to me and all the information has to go through me in order to get to the decision maker. Then, yes, we can set up an appointment with them as well. What we don't want you to do is just a random employee for the company, answers the phone and be like, hey, my name is Angela. I'm calling from G-Talk. We're a local phone provider. We would like to see if we can stop by, just to kind of give you some information. Oh, yeah, you can stop by and drop off some information. We don't do that. Because that's kind of a waste of time for our reps. So yeah, there's going to be those qualification questions that you need to ask in order for that to happen. So Have you had any experience on, like, because I know that, when you apply for these jobs, it's like, you already have experience on the phones, but,
Yes.
a lot of times I've seen that, like you're actually taking care of inbound calls. So, like they're
Mhm.
calling you and then you'll take care of that. Do you have any experience like you cold calling?
Yes. I actually do. I worked for a solar company where I had to do like cold calling to get, well, they were like not fully cold leads because they like sort of filled out a form before just asking. Not they didn't know precisely that it was going to be my company, but they requested information about solar.
Okay.
But it was cold calling because most of them did not remember even like filling out the form ever.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like I know how to like break the ice a little bit when people are not expecting your call because I'm assuming that this is like fully cold calls, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we might be able to, provide you with some list that you
Hmm.
can actually go through the list and just call. But how this is, sometimes those lists are not updated. So it says
Correct.
that, like the owner or the, like manager for this business is, like John. And then you call, it's like, hey man, who with John? Like, oh no, John, he's, he left this company like 3 years ago. I'm like, okay, well,
You're like,
but
okay.
yes. But yeah, I'll be mainly cold calling. Because that way you can kind of, when you Google, let's say that you just Google like insurance agencies in Carrollton, one of the towns, close to where we're at, then you're gonna have a bunch of, all insurance companies that are there, and you're
Hmm.
just calling them like, hey, my name is Angela, we're would you talk? We're a local company, like we'll give you the script. Uh, you know, the script is going to be something for you to just have an idea what you need to tell them, how you need to approach them, but then you just put it on your own words.
Yeah.
It's just a script that you feel comfortable with, and then that's it. But it's pretty simple. Like you don't have to be talking about technology. You have to be talking about pricing.
Hmm.
As soon as someone is what I tell, like once it starts like, okay, well,
All right. So quick pause there, guys. So it's been 6 minutes, 6 minutes of the interview. What can we see? So Angela, got there before, right? The person actually interviewing them. So in a second, we will go over our do's and don'ts. But if you guys noticed, he was already on the call. Horace was already on the call, right? The reporter. And Angela jumped on. Not the end of the world because he immediately flowed into it, but some other companies do judge a lot harder. So remember, if the interview's set for 11 and we get there at 10:50, we're right on time, right? So if we're 10 minutes early, we're right on time. If we get there at 11, we're late. We're late, right? Just because we might have a, battery hiccup, right? You might have forgot your battery. You got to go run now to the other room, ask your friend, your spouse, family member, child to go run and get your charger. So again, at the end of the day, if you guys are there early, you're on time. So number one, Angela, should have been there on time, but hey, she's still, working for them now. So it's still not the end of the world, like I mentioned. Secondly, this hiring company went ahead and checked out her profile, saw the video, looked at her work experience. There are a few questions that are being thrown out. Have you been doing outbound before? Yes. Quick feedback there, right? Since we're in this session anyways. She said kind of, right? They were kind of warm, kind of this. If they're kind of, no need to bring it up. You can say, yeah, I've done outbound before. My most recent campaign, I was provided a list of leads that submitted some information at some point from 2023. But as you know, that data is old. So it was basically cold, John. So I'm very good at doing XYZ. I think she said breaking the ice, right? So I'm very good at breaking the ice, starting off, with those cold calls and breaking the ice. So I think that was done well. But the beginning, stating like, yeah, they kind of submitted some information, they did this, because that's kind of inclining towards what he just said. This is not going to be inbound. They don't know who we are. These are complete strangers. I actually want you to Google, their company website and try and speak with a gatekeeper, an influencer, and get me on a meeting, right? And another thing before we continue is it's 6 minutes in, and he's already letting them know what are the qualifying questions needed, what kind of makes this an actual qualified meeting and what it doesn't, what are the typical objections that you're getting in the space. You're not going to have to speak about technology or pricing. That's actually what we're about to listen to now, right? So the pricing is not going to be needed. He's actually going to say, hey, it's a good tell if someone asks you how much do you cost, right? Of course, that means that there's something that piqued their interest. You might not be the individual that now gives them a quote. Now you're the person that you spark that interest. Now you're going to close with a meeting, right? And another thing that a lot of people don't do is if you didn't close the meeting today just because that person's not going to give you a date, close the appointment with an appointment with yourself, right? A follow-up. Hey, John, I get it. You're not ready for that meeting just yet. I'm going to give you a quick call, end of the month, end of the year, beginning of next year, just to see, if it's a better time, right? So give yourself that follow-up. I would always recommend. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we've gotten so far within 6 minutes. We have a hiring company that is already showing interest in a candidate, and the candidate hasn't been asked, the more common questions, which is, tell me a little bit about yourself, right? It was more, hey, I already saw a little bit about you and I like the video. I like your work experience. This is what we do. This is the field we're in. This is the type of person we're reaching out to. And that's how the interaction actually started. So there are differences, right? We got to be prepared. But overall, still a good interaction. Let's keep watching the video.
What is your pricing, or how, what other services you offer? Because we offer a lot of AI.
Mhm.
So
I saw.
we might be kind of like asking you to kind of lead with the AI. Like we're offering a communications product for your business using AI, and then we can give you free phone service or phone service for $10, something like that. But when they're asking questions, then that's an indication of interest, and that's when you really have to hammer and set the appointment. Like, okay, well, I'm glad that you have some questions, and that's the reason why I wanted to
Let's do
schedule an
it.
appointment. Be like a 10-minute meeting. If you're really not interested, well, when I respect your time and we're just gonna leave. But if you're interested, then like I'm gonna have someone that can kind of show you how we can help your business. So it's
Sounds
pretty basic.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I can see.
Yeah. Where are you located?
I'm in Colombia,
Oh, in Colombia.
Bogota. Yes. Well, I'm from Colombia. That's right.
Oh, okay. So you're what time is it for you right now?
1:40 p.m. What
Oh,
time is it for you?
yeah, we're Central Time too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's 1:42.
that
We're
works.
gonna change our time in I think next month.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to go back 1 hour. So you're gonna be an hour ahead of us
Okay.
next month. But yeah, that should be fine.
That's good.
And then again, like this is just like 8 to 5.
8 to 5.
Because
Okay.
like here in the US, you already know this, but like they're pretty straight. Like, hey, we start working at 8 and we'll close at 5, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have their lunch break from noon to, like 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Uh, that's where that's what they kind of go out for lunch. So that's the time that you can kind of use. Like not everybody goes out for lunch, but then you have your lunch break too.
Mm-hmm.
And appointments are going to be set from Monday to Friday only. We don't do anything on the weekends, so you won't be calling businesses during the weekends.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost you there for a second. You said that it was from Monday to Friday, and then after that, I lost you for a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, so you're not gonna be setting appointments for the weekends, and you're also
Mm-hmm.
not going to be calling during the weekends. It's just Monday to Friday.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Perfect for me, actually. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Well, I think like I like your English. It's very, very good.
Appreciate that.
So that's not gonna be a problem. I'm not from here. I'm actually from Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you have a really good English.
Appreciate
And
it.
yeah, if you like it, then I would like to extend you the opportunity to just join the company and just kind of help our sales team, to be more successful.
Yes, I believe that this is going to be a.
So at the 9 minute and 20 second, 9 minute, 18 second mark, right? the job has already officially been presented over, right? CloudTask still has to send over, the offer, and we still have to send over a few agreements. But at the end of the day, on this one interview, one right away, I know the question comes up sometimes, how soon until I get a job? Angela created her profile within a week and a half. She got on the interview and she got the job within that first interview, right? So what you guys need to work on is having a really great profile, getting that top rated badge. Because again, the likelihood of you getting on interviews and getting offers, if you have a top rated badge, it's a lot higher. Means you worked on your profile, right? Means you have good work experience, means you've been working on your English level, right? So he's giving her all the reasons why he liked her profile. Hey, I'm actually not from the US. I'm actually from Mexico. Where are you from? Colombia. Oh, great. You have great English. Great. So the English level, he really liked. What else did he like? The time zone. So again, Latam, we are an hour and a half. Pacific time might be 3 hour difference right now from here from Colombia, but there's a really big opportunity here with American companies because they like the fact that we're just an hour or we're on the same time zone, right? And again, Pacific time might be 3 hour differences, but at the end of the day, California to New York are also going to be on a 3 hour difference. What they're liking is that you're also on the same time zone. Okay, so within 9 minutes, the offer has been done. Let's see if Angela has any questions. Typically on an interview, right? We should have a few questions, even if it's not already an interview where you got the offer, but it's something that you'd like to look forward to, a second interview, a final interview, an offer, joining the team. If you guys aren't preparing and having some impactful questions, it's not going to look as good, right? Because the competition is fierce and there's a lot of candidates that are coming with great questions that kind of showcases their consultative experience, right? Because they're asking a question and then quickly, hey, I recommend this, or in my previous role, I also ran into that, but we were able to put XYZ into place. So the questions aren't just to ask, when do I start? How many PTOs do I get? What are the benefits looking like? You guys are being hired as remote contractors, right? So technically, we're not eligible for any type of benefits, but I have seen that companies are being very competitive and they are offering benefits. But at the end of the day, this is what you need to find out. We just recommend it's done towards the final interview, right? Once you get your foot in the door for another interview, first round interview, let's see what Angela asks. And yeah, we'll keep diagnosing how it closes out.
A really good opportunity for me. I have worked with digital products before, so I'm very comfortable with that.
Awesome.
And so I think that, well, like you said, the job is pretty straightforward. I know that like how cold calling works. So I think that I can be a very good asset to your team.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so too. So basically he's gonna, go ahead and just give him the okay. So we can basically bring you on board. And once we, once you accept the offer and everything, I'm gonna send you the email with a link for us to do some training. Training is going to be very, very basic. I just don't want us to, spend like 2 weeks doing training. As is very, self-explanatory. Like I'm gonna give you a script. I'm gonna tell you, how to overcome some objections. We're gonna go over the qualification questions that you need to ask to make sure that it's a qualified appointment. And then from there, I'm gonna share a link with it's a link for you to fill like a Google form. So once you set the appointment, you just put all the detail, when is the appointment, what time, who are we meeting with, a company name, address, phone number, email, like number of lines, number of phones, how much are they paying for internet and phone provider, like all that information and all your notes, and that's it. So we're gonna go over that, during training. So yeah, let's I'm gonna go ahead and just just let them know that we wanted to bring you on board on the team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I do
Okay,
have a question.
sure.
Like what type of clients do you guys usually go for? Is it like any company or do you guys have like a niche?
No,
All right. So, first question thrown out. Kudos to Angela, right? She's asking not only because she's curious as far as what type of people am I going to be reaching out to, but she also wants to know what makes you guys unique. There must be other telecommunication companies out there offering AI at a good price, right? So, the good thing here is she's asking, are you guys strictly for legal, financial? She didn't ask that specifically, but that's how you can diagnose this question, right? So very well done. This is a good example because again, it's showing curiosity, right? And it can potentially allow you to give a consultative answer as far as, hey, oh, okay, great, that specific niche. I've done healthcare before, right? So just wanted to point that out. Let's see what other questions. I think that was the main impacting one.
we service any industry, so you can
Uh-huh.
target mechanic shop, tire shops, attorneys, insurance agency, manufacturers, pretty much any business. I'm also going to provide you with a list of the industries that we don't want you to call. Like we don't want you to call churches, we don't want you to call government, we don't want you to
Right.
call any retail. In retail, I mean, I don't want you to call like barber shops or nail salons or like all those places all those businesses like small restaurants or chain
Mhm.
restaurants, like McDonald's and all those things. Like we don't want you to do that. So I'm gonna provide a list for all these industries that I want you to avoid. But other than that, you can plumbing companies, general contractor, construction companies, builders, like small car dealerships. We do great with insurance agencies.
Mhm.
We do great. Always, this I've been doing this for 13 years, and we always have like a really good success with insurance agencies.
Mhm.
Actually, our largest customer, it's an insurance agency that they have over, have over 2,000 locations between Texas and California. So that's our biggest customer. But yeah, I will provide all that information to you during training.
On the onboard.
All right, awesome. So now that we saw the video, I don't need to share anymore. Now that we saw the video, we saw that at the end, impacting questions. So even if it's not a positive, guys, let's go in and make sure that we have some impacting questions there, right? That makes sense for the role that I'm being interviewed for. Very important. So now let's go into the do's and don'ts, right? The do's and don'ts. I'm going to mention first some do's and don'ts during the interview phase, and then do's and don'ts when you get the job. And now it's time to secure it and make sure that you learn, you perform, and then you potentially upgrade and look for a different role within the same organization, right? Or you upgrade your skill set. But at the end of the day, for the do's and don'ts, guys, on interviews. First one, the one that we mentioned with Angela. Make sure you guys are there early. So 10 minutes before an interview, digital interview, makes sense, right? We don't really have to commute. Even if you are currently working, you got caught in traffic, right? Being early goes a long way. So that kind of, transitions over to the next one. Make sure you don't reschedule an hour before the interview unless it's an emergency. And I'll let you guys decide on what is an emergency and what is not. Because I know there's been, tons of valid reasons and then excuses, right? At the end of the day, that's what happens. We have a big community in Jamaica for remote candidates. I know that they were affected recently by a hurricane. So again, you had an interview set up, hurricane just hit me. That is completely valid, right? My child just fell down the steps. I have to go run to the hospital. That is valid, right? If your child is falling down the steps 3 times a month and you're letting the CloudTask team know, hey, we got to watch out. I think that there's something else we got to talk about, right? But at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that decide what is a valid reason, what isn't. CloudTask is going to send that message over to the company, and they will decide, okay, that's valid. Let's reschedule. Or you know what, Danny? I've heard that before. You know what? Someone else's kids, right? And again, I'm not making fun because I know it has happened. I'm just also stating the fact that people will use those claims, right, when it's not really true. So make sure that you guys don't reschedule an hour before the interview. You don't understand how unprofessional that makes you look unless it's an emergency. Third, what is the next thing that makes you look unprofessional? A no-show. If you don't show up to an interview and you don't let the CloudTask team know, the company's not going to know. Therefore, we cannot say, hey, Susan didn't show up because her internet went out. We can't lie, right? We literally are going to share the information you tell us. So make sure if there is a no-show, right? I'm sorry, not a no-show. If you're not going to be able to show up, reach out to the CloudTask team. We're here to help. We're here to support, and we're here to pass on that message. So if you don't show up, the likelihood of you getting a rescheduled, again, it's very, very slim. Very slim to not say you're not getting a reschedule, right? So that would be on the don'ts. What you should do, you should research about the company you're about to have an interview with. You don't have to become an expert, but you definitely need to know what it is they do. Are they a product or service? They have several products. Okay, it's good to know they have several products. Maybe later on you can ask them, is there a specific product you're going to be, focusing on, or is it going to be all 4 products? Is it going to be XYZ, right? So based on your research, you'll be able to get 1 or 2 good impacting questions. So make sure you research a company. Make sure you ask the team, who am I interviewing? Do you mind? That way I could get a little more prepared. I see some of you guys get nervous when it's the owner of the company as opposed to a manager. If that's not the case for you, that's fine, but it's still good to know. Am I going to be interviewed by the person that's going to be managing me directly? Oh, all right. You should always bring your A game, but very few of you guys are asking, who am I being interviewed by? The company website and the job post are 2 things we share. If for whatever reason the company website was not shared, you need to know, you have your spider senses need to come in and say, hey, something's wrong. I need my company website because I don't feel prepared, right? So you need to make sure that if for whatever reason the company website was not shared, you need to ask, right? What else do we need to do, guys? We need to have impacting questions. I think I've said that previously, so I'm gonna go back to it. All right. The reason why impacting questions are so important is because companies are interviewing so many candidates that very few are actually asking impacting questions that are allowing them to come off as a consultative professional, right? So again, if I'm looking for a CSR position and I check out a company, they don't have a chat bot, I can easily ask, hey, John, out of curiosity, is there any reason why you don't have a chat bot on your website? I've just noticed from previous, experiences that you can definitely convert potential customers, and you could keep customers even happier for the ones that want to chat. Is there any reason why, you guys don't have one? So they might say, we tried it and it failed. Okay, great. So it seems like it was just how many different tools did you try? Was it just that one, or was it proprietary? Did you guys try building it out on your own? So it can definitely start going into more of a conversation. But yes, the questions that you ask should be piquing curiosity, as far as that's the role that I'm about to be transitioning into. So ask impacting question, guys, not when do I get PTOs? What are my benefits, right? Those would be some do's and don'ts during the interview phase. Oh, and another one, don't negotiate salary on the first interview. Again, I'm going to live by that forever, right? If again, you're in an urgent, you're in a bit of an urgent position and you need to land a job within 7 days, 5 days, you're already been interviewing, then you should say that. Right? Hey, look, I really like what you guys do. I'm really interested in becoming an SDR for this company. I am interviewing with other companies. Currently, they're offering 1,500. So I would just really like to know, is there any second round I can expect? Is there any assessment assignment that I could expect from you guys? It'll look a lot better than one of your impacting questions being, hey, so what is that monthly base? What are you willing to pay? What's your budget, right? You have a job post in front of you. You know the range that they're in. If you did great, they're going to get you on that second interview. Or if you did great, they're going to offer you the job. But we always recommend negotiating base commissions on that second round. But be prepared if they ask you, well, Danny, what's your comp plan looking like? What are you trying to make on a base and commission structure? What are you looking to make on just base, right? If we're talking about customer support, customer success, personal assistant, right? All these other roles that might not have commissions directly attached with the role. But if you guys come prepared and you have an answer somewhat of what you would state, right? Hey, well, in my previous company, I was earning X. I'm currently making X because I am a passive candidate. I'm currently looking for my next role, but I'm currently making X. I was making X because I was generating over XYZ, right? I had a portfolio of 50 customers that basically generated XYZ, right? So numbers talk. So be prepared if they ask you, what are you looking to make? But don't willingly, try and ask, hey, so how much are you willing to pay? Right? I hope that makes sense. Now, do's and don'ts when you get the job. Guys, if the company is slow to give you tools, slow to get you set up on training, right? Do not stay relaxed in chill mode. This is the moment for you to be extra proactive and let them know, hey, I'm here. I understand I'm getting paid, but I want this to be successful. And I know that even if it's on you, I'm going to get fired if I'm not proactive, right? So when they're hiring remote professionals, they're expecting someone to either help out or at least raise the hand during the onboarding phase if they're noticing that it's quite slow. Because at the end of the day, they're going to hold you accountable, especially in sales. They're going to hold you accountable in all the roles, but especially in sales, if it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and third week, fourth week, you're expected to go live and you still haven't gotten your tools, and you're like, all right, hey, it's cool, man. I'm getting paid. They told me I'm going to get paid. It's all right. Or they haven't told me I'm going to get paid, but so your mindset should immediately switch on to, I got to be proactive. I've got to reach out to them. If you're not set up on weekly meetings with the company, make sure you set yourself up. So if the company has not involved you either on team meetings or just a one-on-one with your manager, make sure you guys are setting that up. It's a must. You need it. We're working remote. We need to keep that bond together. And at the end of the day, so many things change. You would be surprised as to how a week or 2 weeks apart can have a completely different process now that you needed to follow and you were unaware, right? So yeah, with those two things, while you're in the role, make sure you guys are being proactive. Again, during the role, guys, you're still in that trial period, right? So another thing I would say is low energy. It's not going to cut the case for your onboarding phase. So I know we can all get sick. Something horrible might have happened, but it's one of those situations that, we got to leave our problems at the door and then continue through and work our shift. As horrible as it sounds, if you just got hired for a company, yes, this is the moment where you need to show more energy. You need to be more proactive. So I have had cases where, remote candidates have been fired after, a week or a few days, right? And the reason that the candidate gave me is because, hey, I understand maybe they thought I wasn't interested because my energy was a bit low, right? So you yourself need to understand that if your energy is low, that's what they're expecting for the rest of your time with them, right? So in the very beginning, guys, energetic. You need to be very energetic and proactive. Another thing that you guys should keep in mind, when you guys have already been hired by the company, the relationship as far as, hey, I need this day off, even if it's not paid. I just had an emergency, right? We can always help if the hiring company is not answering, but the relationship between you guys operationally, that is completely with you and the company. As far as payments, the finance team will be sending out payments, right? So that's where we would now be in place. And that's it. Just wanted to make those two clear points. But yes, do's and don'ts when you're in that interview phase. Mentioned quite a few. When you guys actually get hired, it's pretty crucial. And again, to close that off, you can always reach out to the team as well. If you ever feel that, hey, you know what, maybe I'm not doing the best I can. Let me try and get some feedback about myself. We'll reach out to the company, see how things are going, right? Very few of you guys do that as well, and kind of just wait until either you're successful and you're doing great and you've been there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or they let you go after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month and a half. All right. So those were the do's and don'ts of this CloudTask Skillbridge, guys. We can move on to our Q&A sessions if we have any. But if not, just wanted to make two last announcements. One, don't forget about our referral program, guys. Even if you guys don't speak English, even if you you currently have a job and you're not passively looking at all, you could earn some extra income based on the fact of you could just refer cloudtask.com, tell someone, hey, sign up, and then you submit that person with a click of a button, right? It's very easy. The process is very easy. So again, recommendation is even if you speak English, if you don't, if you have a job, if you're currently looking for a job, but you still want to make some passive money, you guys could be part of the referral program. And then also little sneak peek by end of month is what the team has told me. End of month, you guys will be able to add multiple videos, right? So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for, hey, I want to be able to have, my account executive video intro and then my management intro, right? So you will be able to have that. So I suggest make sure you guys are logging into your profile, you're keeping it updated, and being aware once we release that. And that's it. And that's it, guys. Have a great rest of the week. And thank you for joining. We'll see you guys next week.